Good evening and welcome to Orient Live here from the gantry at the Breyer Group Stadium. I'm joined by Brendan Pitcher, and the winter coats are out for the first time this season, and a massive respect of course to the fans travelling up to sunny Scunthorpe on this cold November night. And it's a big one under the lights for the O's as we look to get to winning ways away from home and try and build off that fantastic home performance. And Brendan, it's going to be maybe not the hardest task on paper, but it will still be a tough test for the O's tonight.
Yeah, it's one that you come into and think, bottom of the table, we've got to be beating them if we want to be up there as promotion contenders, but it's going to be harder than perhaps it seems. They've brought in a new manager in Keith Hill, and although he's lost his first two games, by all accounts, sounds like there's been some improved performances, and hopefully their fans will be looking to get behind him tonight. So it's going to be a tough test, a tough away game coming on a Tuesday night at a very cold venue, so it's going to be a different test for Orient tonight, but hopefully one they can pick up their first away win since September.
And we will come on to that, but just I'm sure Kenny will be looking to build off of that great performance on Saturday. It was 4 goals against Sutton, and hopefully they've found a way to transfer that onto the road.
Yeah, that's the key thing they're going to be looking at the minute, because there's so many goals flying in all over the place at home. We're battering sides and then just can't pick up that win away from home at the minute. So it's about trying to work out a game plan where we can kind of replicate that home form away from home, and hopefully tonight will be the night they can do that.
Hopefully that is the case, and Kenny's decided to go for a completely unchanged starting 11 for this evening's fixture, but let's take a run through that team. In goal number 22, Lawrence Vigouroux, and right back number 2, Tom James, 8, Craig Clay, 9, Harry Smith, 10, Dan Kemp, 11, Theo Archibald, 15, Alex Mitchell, 16, Aaron Drinnan, 19, and captain this evening, Omar Beckles, 25, Shad Oji, and 26, Hex Cipriano. And on the subs bench, Reece Byrne, Connor Wood, Dan Happy, Adam Thompson, Paul Smith, Darren Prattley, and Ruel Sotirio. So there is not a single change in the starting 11 or the bench this evening. And Brendan, are you surprised about that at all? Or it was obviously a fantastic performance on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where maybe you look at Tuesday night and you try and rotate a little bit, but equally, if you get dropped after you've just won 4-1 against a really informed Sutton side, you're going to be pretty disappointed. So, like I was saying on Saturday on the stream, it's kind of about consistency and developing partnerships now, and that's what Kenny seems to be doing. He's settled on a system now and settled on 11 where partnerships are forming all over the pitch, and hopefully there's a continuation of that tonight, and these partnerships will continue to flourish.
Hopefully they will do indeed. And of course, don't forget, if you're watching along to our free show live on YouTube at the moment, tonight's match is available to stream worldwide, including in the UK. So you can head over to the Orient website, www.leytonorient.com, and go to the match centre to purchase your pass for this evening's game. Now, one maybe negative from Saturday was the fact we went behind, Brendan, and I think in general, conceding a goal, I'm sure the boys wouldn't have enjoyed that, and hopefully a clean sheet will follow tonight. Yeah,
that's the thing. If you're looking at improving, that's what you kind of got to look to improve at, because defensively we're excellent. We're the top scorers in the league now, but we're just a little bit slow off the mark at the minute. We've conceded a lot of goals at home in the first 20 minutes recently, specifically those last 2 games where we've gone down early in the first 20 minutes, and statistically, if you look at it, I think it's 5 out of our 15 goals conceded in the league have come in the first 20 minutes. And then if you look at goals scored, we've only scored 3 of our 31 in the first 20 minutes as well. So it's about getting that fast start. And I'm sure Kenny's someone that analyses things deeply, and he'll know all these stats to hand. So he'll be looking about how we can kind of make a fresh start tonight and how we can get off the mark quickly.
And how do you go about just maintaining that focus at the start of a game, especially after a long travel up to Scunthorpe? How do the players maintain that focus on a cold night away from home?
Yeah, it's about getting that balance, isn't it? Because you don't want to be out the game early, so you're going to try and keep it tight and stay in the game. But equally, if teams are coming at you early on because perhaps they've looked at that record and gone, right, in the first 20 minutes, that's where at their weakest, we're going to have a go at Orient. Then it's about Orient perhaps being a little bit braver and going, let's have a go at Scunthorpe. They're bottom of the league. They're low on confidence at the minute. They might have a new manager, but they've lost their last 2 games under the new manager. So I think it's about Orient being assertive here tonight, and hopefully they can do that.
And it shouldn't be too much trouble for the O's to be assertive this evening. Our strikers are in absolutely fine form, Smith and Drynan both scoring a hatful, and I want to talk even more about that goal Smith scored on Saturday. It was unbelievable. But yeah, they have both been in great form, and it's fantastic for the O's tonight, and hopefully getting ahead first will be key.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about those two strikers; they're excellent at the minute, and they're both strikers in rich vein of form. Because sometimes we have strikers, we have one who has a good run, and then someone else comes to the fore, or we sell one on and get another one. It's rare that we have two strikers who are right at the top of the League Two scoring charts, and that's who we have at the minute in Aaron Drinan and Harry Smith.
Absolutely, and we're going to take a look at some of their recent goals on screen now, and they're not just tap-ins either, Brendan.
No, they're finishes of players who are in great runs of form at the minute. They're all different types of finishes, and they look like players who, whenever they get a chance, they're going to score it at the minute.
And this one, maybe some calls for a foul there, but Harry Smith had to be where he had to be.
Yeah, it's about being in the right place at the right time, which something these two are quite good at, and their anticipation skills are good. Their link-up play together is good, and
I think this is a key example of that hold-up play and that first-time finish from Drinan.
Absolutely, like Drinan, Smith is the man you go into, you play the ball into him, and he'll lay it off, and he'll use his strength. And Drinan's a man who'll run off him and go in behind and use his pace. So it's a really nice combination.
And you say that Smith's run, you put the ball in, but that's not all he's good for, is it? As we're seeing here again.
Oh, it's just unbelievable technique, and like we say about confidence, no one takes that on their weak foot unless they're really confident at the minute, and that's exactly what Harry Smith is.
And it's 9 goals for Harry Smith now this season. That equals his best ever scoring campaign. He's matched that in November. He's going to be hoping to go a lot further.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a sign of Kenny's recruitment and how well he's done, because Kenny came into this job with kind of a blank slate. He had the right to go and kind of sign who he wanted and who would fit his system, and he's picked these two strikers up who perhaps didn't have amazing goal scoring records before they came to Orient, but he knew they were the men to fit his system, and that's proven straight away, because like you say, Harry Smith has already matched his best ever goal scoring tally. So it's about not necessarily picking like the form players or the players who are going to be, who have scored 20 goals last season for Kenny. It's about who will fit his system the best, and these two really do fit his system and complement each other brilliantly.
And they complement each other, but it's not just a case of both of them having individual brilliance. It is working really well as a team, and we're looking at the likes of Dan Kemp slotting in behind, contributing with assists, and Theo Archibald from wherever he plays getting involved, and it does all seem to be clicking. And I can't remember in my history the last time that a side clicked so quickly and scored so many goals so quickly.
Yeah, it's a great balance at the minute, isn't it? It was about kind of Kenny figuring out who perhaps were the players he needed to get all on the pitch at the same time, and I think he's kind of worked that out now with the two wing backs. There's a good balance there between Tom James and Theo Archibald, who are both excellent going forward and solid enough going back, then they do the job. And then you've got Dan Kemp in there, who so impressed with him in terms of he was out of the side at the start of the season, and he's really worked hard to get his place back, and now he's got his place back, and he's working even harder, because you see him off the ball, he's running, he's pressing, he's not just the technical player that we know and we saw at the back end of last season. He's really putting a shift in there and proving that he can be a Kenny Jackett type of player.
Absolutely, and just talking about putting in a shift, it's Saturday, I don't want to say the score flattered us, but we had to work hard from it, and Dan Kemp wasn't the only one who really put in those miles. Craig Clay was exceptional as well, and it was a real team effort, and it has to be, and it has been under Kenny, and that passion and that that drive that's been put in, it's clear to see.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about, are you surprised about the team news? The one maybe possible is, do you bring Darren Pratley back in, because he's the captain, he's the experienced pro, he seems like Jackett's man, but at the minute, Craig Clay and Hector Cipriano have played so well recently that they don't really deserve to be dropped, even though Darren Pratley has come on and he's done well in coming on. He's done nothing wrong either. It's just a case of Craig Clay. He's been superb for us, but he's arguably in his best run of form he's been throughout his Orient career. And Hector Cipriano, who's a player who gives us a little bit something different in there in terms of kind of passing the ball and dictating the play as well. And
that's a bold claim there about Craig being in the best form in his Orient career, considering he won the Player of the Season accolade back in the title-winning season. He has been great, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's difficult to compare, obviously, because that National League winning side was brilliant, but it was a National League team. This is now a team that are in the League Two playoffs, and Craig Clay has arguably been one of, if not our best player in the last month or so. So Craig Clay is a player who you always know what you're going to get. He's consistent, but he matches the levels. So if Kenny didn't perhaps fancy him earlier in the season, he preferred Hector and Pratley. Craig Clay's worked hard to get back in there, and unlike Dan Kemp, he's proven that he can be a Kenny Jackett type of player, and Kenny's relying on him now because he started the last few games.
And are you picking up on the fact that maybe this is the case for a lot of players and a lot of the squad ethic almost? There are players getting out the side, but the way the squad is shaped, that these players are all fighting for a place. And I know that might sound obvious, but it's not always the case at a League Two side.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we've looked at the squad there, and you look at the bench, and there's some real experienced players. We mentioned Darren Prattley, but then you've also got people like Adam Thompson and Paul Smith. They're top League Two players, if not League One players in the making, and they've been unlucky with injuries, but they're banging on the door. They're going to be demanding their places, but at the minute, like we've said, there's no reason for Kenny to drop the guys who've been doing so well. So at the minute, it's a case of consistency, developing partnerships, and people like Shadrach Ogie, Alex Mitchell, Craig Clay, despite having people on the bench kind of perhaps more experienced, they're earning their right in the side.
Oh, for sure. And we're talking a lot about the unchanged nature of the side and partnerships. The main one for me is that those three centre-backs at the back, they've been unchanged for, I don't know off the top of my head, I think around 8 or 9 games now. They have formed a partnership or a pairing of three, and they're doing really well. They would have been disappointed to concede on Saturday, of course, but they're three centre-backs that really seem to complement each other.
Yeah, absolutely. They've all bring different qualities. You've got Omar in the middle, who kind of links the two young guys next to him and is the experienced player, is kind of the leader in there. You've got Alex Mitchell, who is your no-nonsense kind of defender. He'll put his head in where it hurts. He'll get rid of the ball if it needs to be get rid of. He's full of concentration. And then you've got Shad Ogie, who probably gone under the radar a little bit, how much he's improving with the ball at his feet. At times, kind of, he perhaps didn't know when to play and when to kind of get rid of the ball, but I feel like that's a part of his game that's improving recently. I remember the goal against Ebbsfleet in the FA Cup is a prime example in terms of he brought the ball out of defence and he got an assist playing the ball in for Aaron Drinan. So it's a real nice balance in there, and again, it's going to be tough for players like Adam Thompson and Dan Happy to find their way into the side.
It certainly is. Well, as we've just said there, it is a totally unchanged starting 11 and bench from last Saturday's victory over Sutton United. Let's remind ourselves of how the action unplayed on Saturday afternoon.
Orient have put together a 6-game unbeaten run in League Two, but 5 of those have been draws, meaning the Londoners remain outside the playoffs. They've named an unchanged lineup after dropping 2 points late on at Rochdale last week. Sutton make the short trip round to East London, a place and 2 points better off than their hosts. The league newcomers have strung together 3 straight 1-0 wins in different competitions, including Orient beginning to get their foot on the ball, but that was poor play, and they might be in trouble here. And that's fired towards goal and in, and Sutton have the lead. Isaac Olaofe for Sutton United. And it was a horrible mistake. I think it was Shadrach Ogie who gave the ball away. He tried to retrieve the situation, but that's a thumping goal in this term, which is the highest total in the league. It's the long throw in from James. It's flicked on, and the finish is there. And it's Theo Archibald. And Orient were only behind for 12 minutes at Brisbane Road. It was about as simple as they come. James with the flick on, or the throw rather, Smith with the flick on, Archibald with a finish, 1-1. Oh, it's been all Orient since they levelled things up. Sutton have been a threat on the counter. Here they come again, Sutton United. That's a decent hit, oh, he's at the post, so unlucky. Oh, and the visitors should have been 2-1 in front here. That is a brilliant effort, and it deserved a goal. Orient with a lucky escape. The league, 6 draws during that sequence. They need to start turning those draws into wins. They've started the second half brightly though, and the goalkeeper's lost it, and it's headed home. And it's an absolute gift for Leyton Orient. And it's Harry Smith. And that's his 8th league goal of the season. He is a man in a rich vein of form. Oh, the long throw again, and it caused damage again. Sutton really have struggled to deal with those long throw-ins, and that is an absolute rocket into the top corner. What a finish that is. And it's Harry Smith again. His 9th league goal of the season. His best ever league tally before this season was 9. And he's equalled it in some fashion. A bliss. 30 league goals for the season so far. Can they make it 31? And they have done. I think it's deflected in, but Tom James is going to claim it. 94 minutes on the clock. The rout is sealed. Great run by James. And he has his goal that his display deserves. And Orient have 4. Sutton have been absolutely hammered.
A complete performance from the O's on Saturday and a fantastic 4 goals and of course a much needed 3 points. But it's a slightly different test for the O tonight in the shape of Scunthorpe United FC. And let's take a look at how the home side line up for this evening's fixture. In goal for Scunthorpe, number 30, Kieran O'Hara. Number 2, Ross Millen. Number 3, Mason O'Malley. Number 4, Alex Kenyon. Number 5, George Taft. Number 6, Emmanuel Honoriase. Number 8, Alfie Beeston. Number 9, Ryan Loft. 16, Lewis Thompson. And 19, Aaron Jarvis. And finally, number 23, Tom Pugh. And on the subs bench for Scunthorpe this evening, Collins, Green, Hippolyte, Rowe, Scrimshaw, Perry, and don't know if he's local or not, but it's Hackney. So there is the Scunthorpe starting 11 for this evening's game, and that's how the hosts line up. And what do you make of that one, Brendan?
It looks like they could play a 5 at the back formation, which is matching us up, and it's difficult to kind of pick out any standout performance because obviously they're bottom of the league and they haven't had the best of times with it this season. But you look at someone like Ryan Loft, who's big target man, a good striker for this level, someone that we've been linked with in the past, and he's a player who has only got 2 goals in 10 games this season, but in terms of his expected goal stats, he's right up there. In fact, he's got a better expected goals per 90 than Harry Smith and Aaron Drinan, so he's getting a lot of chances. He's perhaps not finishing them at the minute, but if he can start to improve his finishing under a new manager in Keith Hill, maybe get a bit more confidence in him, then he could be a real threat tonight for Orient.
And what kind of performance do you expect from Scunthorpe then in regards to them? Obviously, we'll look at us coming in off the back of 2 decent home performance, or 2 very good home performances and an away draw. So unbeaten, but also, you know, they'll be looking at getting to us. Yeah,
I think Keith Hill, you associate him with passing it on the deck and being a good footballing side. That's how his Rochdale teams played, who were a good side for the level. But when you're in a relegation scrap like they are at the minute and you're kind of fighting for every point and you're just looking to stabilise things, I think he's gone to a 5 at the back. Perhaps it will be kind of just like backs to the wall, direct, no nonsense football, because if you're in a relegation battle, you're going to be scrapping for every point you've got. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of style of football they play under the new manager and whether they will get put in an improved performance, because like we said, they've lost their 2 games under Keith Hill so far, but from what I've read and what I've seen from their fans, they seem more pleased with Keith Hill's team than they were under the previous manager.
And we've touched on our centre-back 3 and Ryan Loft obviously being the striker that he is. You imagine that'll be quite a key battle this evening? Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be down to seeing who wants to pick up him in the middle, and I think perhaps Omar Beckles might be the one. He's kind of the leader, the commander. He'll be the one putting his hand up saying, I'll mark their danger man. So it'll be interesting to see who picks him up, but yeah, be a battle in there and one that I think our back 3 can do well in. Absolutely. Well, another man who'll be keeping his eye out for Ryan Loft this evening is Orient's number 22, our phenomenal goalkeeper, Lawrence Vigouroux. We caught up with him earlier today ahead of this evening's fixture. Let's hear his thoughts.
Well, Lawrence, thanks for joining us. Seems the boys have already made the trip up to Scunthorpe, but just to start us off, what did you make of Saturday?
Yeah, it was a good performance, to be fair. I thought we rode the storm well. And then they started really well in the first 20 to 30 minutes. And then I think other than that, I think we were brilliant. I think we completely deserved the 3 points, and we can hopefully use that moving forward going into the game against Scunthorpe.
I mean, your home form has been unreal this season. So how much do you and the boys like playing in E10?
Yeah, no, it's been brilliant. You know, it was different Saturday because it was the first time we won having been turned around this season, like little things like that. So they're little things that we needed to overcome really, and we did on Saturday with flying colours, and I think we thoroughly deserved the 3 points, and the boys, yeah, we love playing at home, and it just shows with our record there how strong we are there. So we need to keep that going, and then hopefully we can get a few more wins on the road as well.
I saw a stat the other day that said you were, I think, the Orient keeper that's had on average the most clean sheets since about 1993, which is a great record to have taken up at the moment. And it's one that must make you feel really proud.
Yeah, I didn't actually know that. But yeah, I think it helps as well when I've got such a good defence around me, that help me out with everything. And, I can't get clean sheets on my own. I can only get them with everyone chipping in and doing their job as well. So I think that helps, for someone like me as well, playing in goal, to just get those clean sheets. And it's something that I'm really proud of.
Spoke to Harry Smith after the game, and obviously a big mate of yours. I think you know him from Swindon. We were speaking to him after the game on Saturday, and he's spoken about how much he's loving it here. What's he like to have around the place? Yeah,
no, he's good. Like you say, I knew him from Swindon, and we've always I still spoke to him on and off for years. So it's good to have someone like him in the dressing room. He's happy, he's a bundle of joy, and he really does help out. With the younger lads as well. He's honest as well. He's an honest person. He knows when things don't quite come off for him, and he's honest about that. And he wants us to be honest with him as well. So he's a really good player to have around the place, and yeah, we all love playing with him.
I think a word on Craig Clay too. I know you're just playing GTA even there. You might not always kind of be the player to get the headlines, but I think he's such a dependable player, and must be great to have as a teammate.
Yeah, he's a brilliant player to have around. I've been calling him Milner recently because he can play everywhere. So he can play anywhere, and you know what you're going to get with him. He's going to be 8 out of 10 weekly, and that's the only thing you can ask for, really. I think he's an honest player. He works hard. He gets stuck in, and then on top of that, he has the quality to deliver good passes. And even against Rochdale the other day, he has the quality to score a goal, which was one of the best I've seen, apart from Smudges the other day, that I've seen in a long time. So yeah, he's a really good player, and we're loving working with him as well.
Well, as you know, it's Scunthorpe that we play next, and a team that have had a bit of a bad start, but they've got a new experienced manager in, and they'll be hoping that he can be the one to change the fortunes. What kind of game are we expecting?
It'll be a tough game. Again, like you say, they've got a new manager, and I've played against their new managers' teams in the past, and they're always possession-based sides, and we can deal with that. We've played loads of teams that are possession-based, but I'm expecting them to be a good side. They're a big club for the level. They've been in the Championship a few years ago. They were in League One a couple of years ago. They have a good fan base, and the fans will get behind them, and we've got to combat that and overcome it, and hopefully we can get 3 points.
Do you think it's simple as saying that, if we want to be in those automatic promotion spots, then it just needs to be more wins on the road?
Yeah, definitely. It goes without saying, really, that we have to win games away from home, I know it's good to get points, here and there, not to lose, and to be solid and formidable away from home, but we've got to start winning games. We know that, and we know that. We're honest enough to say that, some of those draws that we've had, we should have won those games. So, we just keep working hard in training, and for us to achieve our goals, we've got to win games away, and I think that's something that we can do. We can accomplish that, and I think that's something that we're all working hard towards doing.
Top stuff there from Vigouroux, and hopefully another clean sheet this evening for him. And just firstly, a big shout out to Paul Bushell, who's watching along from his sun lounger somewhere sunny by the looks of things. His wife Linda just shared a fantastic photo, so I hope you enjoy the game this evening, Paul. And Brendan, just touching on Lawrence Vigouroux there, the fact that he's averaged the most clean sheets for Orient other than any goalkeeper since 1993, that's pretty impressive going.
Yeah, like last season he was our standout player for me, and this season he's kind of blended into the background a little bit because we've improved as a team. But he's been fantastic, hasn't he? And he's really improved his game in terms of knowing when to play out from the back and when not to, and his shot stopping's been excellent, and he's kept us in the game.
He really has. Sorry, there's a bit of pandemonium going up here on the gantry with some pigeons trying to ambush the stream, but we'll try and maintain that professionalism. What I picked up from that interview there with Lawrence Vigouroux is is that he said he can't get the clean sheets on his own, and that highlights what we were talking about, that defensive unit that Kenny's built. Now with Theo Archibald out on the left and Tom James on the right, it is a solid unit.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a real kind of defensive partnership in there with Vigouroux kind of commanding it, and he's the experienced goalkeeper in there now who kind of he'll be talking to him during the game, and the back three respond to him, and it's a real good solid partnership. It's one of the best defences in the league, and Lawrence Vigouroux will be happy because Orient as a team have conceded the least shots on goal from open play of any team in League Two, so he'll be happy that he doesn't have that many shots to save at the minute.
And there was obviously a lot of signings made in the summer. It was unsure for the majority of the off-season whether or not we'd be signing a new keeper. Lawrence was that signing, and ultimately he's probably been one of the signings of the summer. I know that sounds strange, where he was already a player, but it was monumental. Yeah,
he came in late, and it was to and fro whether he might have signed a new deal or not, but he's really come in and he stepped up and proved his commitment to this side, and proved that he wants to grow with this side, because there's no doubt he can be a League One goalkeeper, but hopefully it can be with Leyton Orient rather than with another team.
Absolutely, and the players are making their way to the pitch now. Brendan, which way do you see this one going? The O's must be desperate for that away win, the first in September.
I could look like a mug, but I really do hope, and I do believe that this is going to be the day that we get our first away win since September, and I hope a clean sheet comes with it. So I'll go for a 2-0 Orient victory.
Hopefully so. Well, we already made ourselves look like mugs squirming at that pigeon up here on the balcony, and hopefully we'll get him to go away in the first half. But now it's time to pass over to our match commentary team of Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock. Come on, you O's.
Absolutely.